Hello everyone, I'm Teguh and welcome to Storytime. Today's story is part 12 of A Tale of Two Friends. As you recall in the last chapter, Neisha and Cleo witnessed the death of a friend while they were waiting to be processed, to be put in the cages again. Well, it depends with everyone. And today we're going to find out what happens next in part 12, Research. After their night in cages, Neisha and Cleo were separated and placed with the other cats and dogs. They both found their parents and hung out with them. They told their parents of what they saw happen to Princess. Both parents seemed shocked about what they had witnessed, but they knew that they would have to see it eventually. Nisha's mother told her. Neisha replied. Nisha's mom kissed her. Neisha said as she nestled her into her mother's paws. Neisha's mother flashed a look of concern on her face, wondering what that meant. That day, they had two people come in and look at them. As they came in, Neisha hid her face into her mother. Every time Casey or Jasmine came to try to pick her up, she would growl at them, showing her teeth and running away. The staff would say something and give them a nervous laugh before showing them someone else. Today, no one was chosen to leave. At the end of the day, when the lights were turned off and the people had left, Neisha's mother turned to her. Her mother said to her. Neisha said, her voice so loud that all the other dogs looked at her. Neisha's mother looked at her. She paused. Neisha's mother continued on more passionately. Neisha replied. Neisha's mum said as she bared her teeth. She snapped at Neisha. Neisha reacted by placing her leg out and watched as her mother's teeth sunk into her. Neisha cried as Neisha's mum's teeth punctured her skin. She pulled her leg back and backed away from her mother. She looked down at her leg. Blood was starting to come from it. She licked at it and looked at her mother. Her heart beat fast. She was getting scared of her mother. From somewhere, a familiar voice broke through the walls. Cleo asked. Neisha looked around. Neisha's mom commanded her, still angry. Neisha said as she started to move, leaving a small blood trail. Neisha's mother made a step to try to move to her, but Sasha and Buddy got in her way. Said Buddy. The anger let out, and fear took over Neisha's mother. She turned away and walked back to the front of the cages, where she usually hung out. Neisha said. Buddy replied. Neisha smiled and turned her attention to finding Cleo. Cleo said. She said as she followed the sound. Neisha moved towards the back of the cages and looked down. She saw a hole in the wall and bent down to look through it. A purple eye greeted her as she peered through and looked into the hole. Cleo asked as she saw the ice blue glow of Neisha's eyes. Neisha licked the blood off her leg. She said. Cleo paused for a little. Cleo exclaimed. Neisha described how she had managed to get the people not to look at her earlier that day by saying that she kicked at them and growled at them. Cleo praised. Cleo smiled. Cleo said with relief. The other cats around her giggled a little bit. Cleo could not stop herself from giggling too. Once the laughter subsided, Cleo looked at Neisha. Neisha smiled. Cleo confirmed. The next morning, Neisha and Cleo woke up with everyone. However, instead of eating like everyone else, they stayed at their holes and talked to each other about how they were going to get their friends out. They recalled Princess and both agreed that the longest residents needed their help first. Their plan for today was to discover who were the longer residents. Neisha asked. Cleo closed her eyes and took a deep breath. There must be something that was stopping them from being taken. But what was it? Cleo turned her head and looked at the other animals. She noticed that while some cats were eating, including her mother, there were quite a few cats that just kept to themselves and did not interact with anyone. Osiris was one of them. She started, taking a long pause. Neisha's tail started to wag a lot. Collecting the information they needed took a lot longer than they had anticipated. Nobody came in that day, so Neisha and Cleo walked around to the other animals and asked them questions. The next day it rained, so again no one came. The day after that there was 1 or 2 people that came in and looked at them, but again no one was chosen. It wasn't until the 4th day that people really started to come in. On that day, Cleo and Neisha spent the whole day trying to avoid people. Cleo just ignored the people that came in while watching them carefully, and Neisha kept her head down and hidden between her paws a lot, so not to attract any attention, and growled at any attempt to go near her. They observed the behaviors of everyone around them. The people who came in, how they looked, how they walked, how they decided which animal they wanted to interact with. It was a lot of information they had to collect. Sasha said. By the end of the day, although there were many people that came in, the number of dogs in the pen was decreased by 4, and the number of cats decreased by 5. After eating their dinner, the two compared the notes with each other. Neisha told Cleo about the dogs that were taken. She said they were usually very energetic. Neisha told them of how they acted when the people came in. The energetic ones would run straight to the front of the cage and look at the people, while the others would just stay behind. The ones that stayed behind were never looked at closer. Of the ones that were energetic, it seems like the ones that can do some actions like sit down or raise their paw when people said something had more people excited. And of the 3 that were taken, they were all able to do that. They were all young. The 4th dog that was taken was an unusual situation. That dog was called Bruticus, and he was one of the biggest dogs there and the oldest dogs in the shelter. He didn't follow what was asked of him, but the short, tiny woman chose him, even though he was a lot bigger than her. No one really knew why. After Neisha had finished her recap, Cleo told of her observations. Her description of cats were completely different from that of the dogs. For the most part, the cats that got taken were ones that actively chose to go to the people. It helped that when someone got close to one of them, many of them would simply just run away. The ones that remained were usually the ones that got taken in the end. Cleo summarized the different situations in simple terms. Neisha said. Cleo replied. And that ends part 12 of A Tale of Two Friends. Join me next week for part 13 when we see what happens next. Until then, goodbye.